We have hit double digits here at Broncos Training Camp, day 10. I'm joined by the Hall of Famer Steve Atwater. Steve, good to see you.
Hey, great to see you too, Aric. Hey, another day down.
No,
we're stacking them.
Stacking them another day closer to the preseason opener against the Indianapolis Colts. Steve, a couple different things to get to today. I want to start, though, with the fact that head coach Sean Payton came off the field and said he didn't think it was the Broncos' best practice. He said maybe they mentally hit a wall a little bit. Obviously, we're into camp now, getting to be a little bit of a grind. He did say he expects the team to come back tomorrow looking much better, sharper. Steve, you've been through a lot of training camps in your day. I'm sure there's times where you didn't have the best practice or the team didn't have the best practice. When you come off the field after that, how do you look to respond the next day?
Well, I think more than anything, guys may be a little tired, mentally tired too, from just going through the same thing over and over again. I would say the main thing is just get your rest and study. Rest, study, get your body right, and it'll come back. It's just it happens to every team. Every single team in the league, they're going to have some days where they don't feel the best about, but it's still a building block though.
Sean talks a lot about the mental toughness. Is this part of that where you just got to find a way to push through and get back to kind of, we had seen a lot of practices. This is the first time he's really said that about this team so far in training camp. Is it kind of the case you got to be mentally tough and find a way to power through the dog days of camp?
Yeah, 100%. And, Sean Payton knows it, again, the offense much more than we do, because I thought it looked fine, like the rest of the practices to me, as an outsider, but as on the inside, he knows what it should look like. And apparently they weren't meeting those standards today. I would imagine some guys had some mental errors and guys just not being in the right place at the right time. And that's just things you got to correct during training camp. And fortunately, it's not mid-season and this is happening. Fortunately, it's in training camp where, you have the time to improve on those mistakes. Yeah,
and, end of game scenarios, what we saw kind of toward the end of practice today, mixed results there, so maybe that goes into it a little bit. I don't know. Sean Payton did say he's going to go upstairs and watch it, and he said, sometimes I get up there and I realize it wasn't quite as bad as I thought it was going to be. We hear that a lot with coaches. It's not always as good as you think it's going to be. It's never as bad as you think it was. Steve, one guy who stood out to me at least who I did think was good today was the rookie Devaughn Vele. Steve, one play he had kind of a back shoulder throw from Zach Wilson. He goes up and makes a really nice catch. It would have been a touchdown or close to a touchdown in a game scenario. Steve, what do you like about the rookie here? He's made some impressive plays as camp has gone along.
Yeah, well, first off, he reminds me a lot of young Tim Patrick. And he's long-rangey, got great hands, great concentration. And he's just been steadily, quietly stacking day after day after day, because I don't recall him really having a bad day where, he's dropping 3, 4, 5 balls. He's pretty much caught, I would say, 90+% of the balls that have been thrown to him. And the coaches noticed that. They noticed that. They noticed the hard work. They noticed that, he's in the books. He's not making the mental errors. And that goes a long way towards him being able to help contribute in the offense's productivity this year.
Sean said, hey, he's a guy, really strong hands. He can make catches in traffic. He can make plays away from his body. And they also said that he makes a couple of these plays in a row, and then you're thinking as a coaching staff, we got to find a way to get him more involved. That's pretty impressive for a rookie to kind of make a coaching staff think twice and say, hey, we got to make sure that 81's getting the ball here, right?
Yeah, and, whenever you're a playmaker, that's what you want to hear. You want to hear, hey, coach going to get me more balls, because there's only one ball on the field, and you probably have anywhere from 45 to 60, 70, 80 plays on offense, and, a percentage of them, most of them aren't going to come to one person. So whenever the coaches say, hey, we got to get this guy more involved, we got to get him the ball, that's a good thing, and know you're doing something right and keep doing it. Don't rest on that.
He's a little bit of an older player. Vele took his mission trip and then came back and played college football. You think that age, kind of similar to Bo Nix, helps from a maturity standpoint in terms of, acclimating quickly and getting involved in the offense?
I definitely think so. I think it helps with the maturity process too. Just knowing that he's a few years older than a lot of the rookies and Bo Nix as well. They know they've experienced a little bit more. They've got 2 or 3 more years of experience over the rest of the guys, rest of their rookie class. And I think they're getting out. Both of those guys have gotten out to a great start.
Steve, the rookies, though, as we saw the initial unofficial depth chart released
All of them.
On this day. They're all at the bottom of the pecking order, and Sean Payton said that's just kind of what I do with rookies. He clearly did not want to spend a lot of time on the depth chart. Still a lot more practices to go. He said he's not ready to put out a depth chart yet, but you're required by the league. So Broncos put one out. The rookies are at the bottom. There's a couple positions where inside linebacker, corner, where some guys are jockeying for jobs, but clear that it's still very early, so we're not going to spend a lot of time on it right here, but we will be back tomorrow for another edition of Broncos Camp Breakdown, giving you the latest from out here at training camp. For the Hall of Famer Steve Atwater, I'm Aric DiLalla.